It's good to see quite a few previous winners here, actually. Rebecca, Michael, Laura. I don't want to forget Kylie Maxwell. She's a past winner. But so many people here that are experienced. It actually makes me quite emotional. It's like 12 times we've done this. So, and it is truly a privilege to be able to serve you all in this way. Also a privilege for me is to be able to work with some fabulous sponsors. So Transform would not be possible without the support of homely.com.au, Colmio, who have been on board for the last couple of years. This year we've brought on Podium as our support partner, our technology partner, and also what would Transform be without an auction, although it's much later in the piece this time, from Open, Rex Labs and Direct Connect. We couldn't, as I said, we couldn't bring you Transform at the price that we do without the support of those sponsors. So can we have a round of applause or an emoji card for our sponsors? And I noticed some of them are online today. I see Brock Fisher, I see a few other people. So, and you'll see them all hanging out in the Facebook group, because I threw down a challenge to all of our sponsors this year that they must participate. They're not allowed to just lurk, they've got to participate. So this is why you got Brock in Lycra on Sunday. And Team Elite are also participating. So a lot of people think Elite Agent's just me. I kind of want to bust that myth. I can see Kylie here. I'm sort of hoping that the others are online, but they could be interviewing people, but you'll meet more people from Elite Agent than just, I can see Renee, Amy, of course, who you'll get to know over the 30 days. And there's a thumbs up here somewhere, I think. Yeah, that guy, that guy that, keeps us all honest. Now, one more thing I want to tell you, like in previous Transforms, we've asked you to type your name into the chat box to get points for being here live. This year, we're not doing that. We're going to give you a password. And if you miss the password, you miss the points, or you're going to have to suck up to one of your team members and get them to give it to you. Is that fair? Yep. All right. So the password today is Maverick, as in... Well, you can be my wingman, that Maverick. So no, not Goose, just Maverick. So if you can write that down, I'll mention it again towards the end. But every live there will be a password, and just as you've been doing your practice challenges, that's the password that you'll put in to get points for being here live, because we're going to assume that if you have the password that you were here. Is that okay? Thumbs up? All right, good. Okay, so with that, I just want to get on to what the plan of action for today is. So we're going to be talking about marketing. This Transform is all about marketing. It's all about digital marketing. Well, it's not all about digital marketing, but without digital, it's very hard to scale. It's very hard to get leverage. And so the things that we're going to be talking about today and for the next 30 days is this. And I'm going to set the scene for you today. So we are going to create a systemized marketing model that will leave you feeling great about your marketing in no time at all. So you know how sometimes marketing can feel a bit icky? It's like, oh, I don't want to promote myself. I feel it all the time, people. Don't worry, I'm right there with you. But if you can sort of really have your marketing from a point of view of adding value to people, then it doesn't feel icky. It feels quite good, actually. Today, we're also going to be looking at what frictionless sales is and what the art of conversion is really all about, because I believe conversion happens, number one, in connections, in conversations, and it also happens over a longer period of time than you think. And I think if you talk to any of the portals, or even Google, even we had a Google expert in last year, the amount of time it takes people to make a decision on moving right now is way longer than it used to be. Like people dip in and out of their property journeys all the time, and you need to be there, whether it's in person or whether it's digitally. And then thirdly, the other thing we're going to look at is this one here. this, what I would say is the outdated funnel model. I had a long conversation with Scott Bateman from Colmeo on this one, and why it should be replaced with something different called the Flywheel. And of course, you'll be hearing from Scott on day 22. And just for you guys that have done Transform a few times, some of you will know Scott. He has a master's from Harvard Business School. He was actually rated the 3rd top speaker of the last Transform, above Tom Ferry. Like, that's how good Scott is. And he's actually bringing you a Harvard Business School case study. Now, I know some people that might sound a bit difficult, but it is super interesting. I've been through the case study with him. And you know what they say, no challenge, no change. So can't wait for day 22. So on with the show. You've all got your idea capture cards in front of you. And the idea with the capture cards is this. We want you to capture like one idea per session. And so what you'll do is, Transform is all based around 4 themes. So one is attract, one is nurture, one is convert, and then the other is leverage. So what you'll do with your capture card is, when you're listening to a speaker, is you'll circle one of these: attract, nurture, convert, or leverage, whichever category you think this is in. So attract is for attracting clients. Nurturing is about nurturing those leads, whether they be new leads or existing customers. Convert is about converting prospects to customers, and leverage is about gaining leverage and being able to do things at scale. You'll put in your name, make it easy for us to score your points. So I'm going to put in my name, Samantha McLean, messy. Ditto for the speaker. Giving myself a tip here. And my idea in brief is something about, like, whatever the idea in brief is. Don't be too judgmental about the idea. The goal is, at the moment, just to capture it. And what we'll do towards the end of this is we will sort and prioritise those as part of this challenge. So we want you to end up with about 20 cards or 20 ideas, and then on day 30, we are actually going to sort those into some priorities for you. Cool? Now, on the back of the capture card, you'll get some notes and actions. So think about what your next steps are. Maybe not just how, but who as well. If it's not you, then who, and write those down. And this little box here is, how long is it going to take you? So if you think it's going to take you a day, just colour in that bottom circle. If you think it's going to take you a week, you probably want to colour in 2 circles. Think it's going to take you a month, a bit more, and a bit more, so that you actually start thinking in your mind when you get these ideas, because a lot of the conferences that we go to and stuff, you write down a heap of ideas and then that's all they end up. It's just this jumble of ideas. And so what we really want you to do is think about, well, what is this idea? What's the next step? Who's going to do it? And then how long is it going to take? And so once you've got both of those things lined up, I want you to take a photo of both of them or a screenshot of both of them. And that also forms part of your points for the live challenges. So I don't want you to do it now, but if you've got the app and you go to day 1, you'll see that in that challenge, there's a spot to put in the password. There's a spot to put in both sides of your capture card. There is a spot for, that's about all at the moment, I think. And the 2 challenges I'm going to give you at the end. So, by the way, for you guys that have been uploading challenges, some of you have been sending me comments in that anything else you'd like us to know box, and they make my day. They seriously, reading through some of them. I was looking at Jax's live in the car this morning, and the comment about the eyebrows was, made me put me in the right frame of mood for this today. It was gold. So don't be afraid to tell me how you're going and what you're thinking, because we actually do read all of your comments as we're going through these things. So what's got us here in the first place, or why are we all here? And I talk to a lot of agents, and with all the love in the world, there are a lot of trainers out there that do marketing training, and or you'll be talking to some other agent that because we know agents follow each other on Facebook and stuff like that. And someone will just say, oh, put a few ads on Facebook and see how it goes. Has anyone ever heard that? And then the next thing someone will say is, oh, you can't just put stuff on Facebook. You got to boost it too. Has anyone heard that? Yeah. And then the third thing is, no, you can't just boost it. What you've got to do is you've got to go into Business Manager. Has anyone heard that? And then the fourth thing is, don't use Facebook. You need your own website. And then you go, God damn it. What am I supposed to do? Has anyone ever felt like that? And so, this is one of the big problems that we see. The second problem that we see is that maybe you do get some leads from, let's say, the portals, or you get some leads from Facebook, but they don't convert. Has anyone been in that situation where it's like you're sitting in front of them and you're thinking, why the hell am I here? This person's not really interested in me and I've kind of forced my way in the door, and it's really hard. The next thing is that, the next problem that we see is this problem. And I swear that's not Neil Webster, but I've never seen this guy and Neil Webster in the same room at the same time, just saying. But if you follow a lot of agents on Facebook, it looks more like the Matrix. If you follow a lot of agents on Facebook, there's no doubt that sort of seeps in. And rather than listening to your consumer, other agents get into your head and you start doing the same things that they're doing. And Team Matrix rules. Yes, it does, Kelly Seaton on the fence. Glad to see you here. Making a hashtag out of that one. So it's impossible almost, because I know agents follow agents, and then you see what they're doing, you think, oh, I should do that too, and it looks kind of cool, but it doesn't work. Has anyone experienced that? Because, you're not talking to your market, you're almost talking to other agents. And then the last thing is, I guess, and I suppose this is the problem that we all have, is when it gets too hard, it just gets too hard. It's like this marketing business, it's just too hard. I've flopped around from one thing to another. I've taken this person's advice, this person's advice, this person's advice, and that person's advice, and none of it works. Well, partly it doesn't work because you've taken too much advice from too many people and you've flopped around on your strategies. And as we know from last Transform, multitasking is not a strategy for success. You want to stick to one thing and give it a go. And I've seen a couple of people that are here today that have stuck to one thing very successfully. So Ashley Goodchild, for example, has stuck to LinkedIn, and I would say she's a real influencer on LinkedIn, and you'll be hearing from her in a couple of weeks' time. Melanie Poole has stuck to Instagram. She's a genius at Reels, and she'll be talking to you about how to create Reels. So consistency does win, but we're going to talk about a strategy to get you consistent and comfortable. I think the other problem too is that, if you do keep flopping around with strategies, it's very easy for a year to go by. Who thinks 2021 has gone by in an absolute blur? Where the hell did 2021 go? I mean, it started for me at DEFCON 11 with landing across the border and being in quarantine while trying to move house. And then we sort of set up the studio, and then we had Transform, and then we had Accelerate, and then we had new people, and then we had magazines and all the rest of it. And well, here we are, put up the Christmas tree. And it's really easy to do, particularly if you are sort of, not sure which way it is that you should be turning. But the thing is, if you do stick to one thing, I think that there is a massive opportunity for growth, and I'm going to prove it to you right now by doing some drawings. Because I think the truth is, we all want to market ourselves. We all want to grow our businesses, right? Am I right? But like I said, marketing is uncomfortable. So what we're going to talk about today is some marketing that feels authentic, that is useful to your customers, that actually works. Go figure. Marketing that works. Woo! And the third one is can be systemized. Because, if you can systemize something, then it becomes repeatable and becomes easy and it becomes, dare I say it, effortless. So that's where we're going today. So I'm going to introduce you to a model I call RRP. Am I talking too fast? Am I going good pace, or can you just let me know in the chat box? Slow down, speed up? No? Okay, good. All fine. Rightio. So I'd like to introduce you to a model that I call RRP. If you like shopping, you'll remember that it'll be an easy acronym to remember. The three R's stand for relevance, relationship, and presence. And you need these three things working in sync to have your marketing working really well and be all of those four things that I just talked about. So let's talk about them one by one. Relevance to start with. Relevance is about your services. And if you're a member of Sales Caffeine, you've probably seen me do something similar to this. So I'm just going to let you guys tune out for a bit or listen in again. It's up to you. Services, messaging, and positioning. So this is all about, this is about providing someone the right message at the right time. So if someone is searching for something about property and finds something relevant for you, it's likely you'll get called in. Your services are what you do, who you do it for, who you help, what your target market is, how you describe yourself to your target market. And positioning is otherwise known as USP or DSP, which is your unique selling point. And it's always best when you start marketing to have a very clear idea of who you're marketing to, because everything gets much easier. I think about someone like Josh Teslin, when he started out, he was the duplex guy. So he sold a duplex and then he went marketed to all the other duplex owners within a couple of streets, got a few listings and then got references from them, and he was the duplex guy. And then he went from being the duplex guy to going wider. So his unique selling point at the beginning was that he was the duplex guy. And I think it's how you set yourself apart and how do you play to your strengths. Because as Seth Godin often says, if you end up trying to appeal to everyone, you might end up appealing to no one. So that's relevance. And then we've got relationship. So this is about the 3 C's: connection, conversation, and community. Okay, and so these 3 things. Connection, first of all, is being a real and authentic version of yourself, both online and offline. I used to work for PwC, and used to be that we used to coach these high-powered professionals to go and win big deals from the state government and things like that. And they would always try and be super perfect. They'd have the perfect suit and the perfect tie and the perfect everything and know what to say. They'd been coached within an inch of their lives. They'd walk in, they'd come back and they go, yeah, I don't know, something was off. We just weren't having a conversation. And we didn't seem to be connecting. And, perfection is a hard thing to connect with. When you see someone's Instagram and it's all just super, super 100% perfect, all the time, do you think, oh, that's so perfect, I wish I could be like that? Or do you think, I want to get to know that person, I want to sit down in the pub with that person or whatever? It's very hard sometimes. So I would say, even from a business point of view, you want to be showing, the real behind the scenes and things like that. I look at someone like Lisa Novak, for example, and, she's on social media a lot, But you look at her social media and a lot of it is behind the scenes. So she's not just looking like, like a real estate agent that's out there in a flashy car all the time. She's actually looking to her customers like she's working super, super, super hard. Does everyone get that? Like it's actually showing that it's warts and all, not just, that perfect veneer of, not that perfect veneer of what everyone wants to see. So, Jax, it's okay if your eyebrows aren't perfect. We don't mind. In fact, we would much prefer that to thinking that you're way more perfect than us. The other thing, so the other couple of C's, conversation is another one. So it's all about taking the time and effort to talk to people about what's really important to them. Replying to their comments, engaging on social media, being part of the conversation. So at the moment, I've got quite a few real estate agents talking to me in my letterbox. In fact, this is like, I don't know. Kath Barker, you're not in there, you're safe. But, honestly, this stuff all looks the same to me and it's nothing I'm interested in at the moment. You know what I'm interested in at the moment? Just got a puppy. I'm interested in talking to everybody about my dog. I posted a picture of him in the Facebook group. He's super cute, right? Wearing the Rex bandana. I'm really interested in my Peloton bike. I finally, after 3 or 4 years of being a member of Peloton, I just bought a bike and I've just discovered that Michael Clark, who's a real estate agent over in, on the northern beaches of New South Wales, he's a Peloton member. And I tell you what, that whole idea of a relationship, we are connected now through the Peloton leaderboard. You are my real estate agent, because I swear it's not a cult. I swear to God, it's not. He thinks it's a cult, but it's not. Anyway, you need to talk to people about things that they're interested in, not just about real estate. And then being part of a community, which is, creating a safe space to network for other businesses. So this is where some agents during the pandemic have done really well. They've given shout outs to their local businesses. This one's actually a pretty good one. I'll show you this one on the overhead. I didn't know what it was for a while, so I wouldn't consider it's brilliant marketing, but it's not bad. So this is Runaway Bay Neighbourhood Watch. Lands in the letterbox every now and then, scares the pants off me because it tells me, that someone nearly broke into my place. But they are being a safe space, a safe way to connect with the community. So you can see there's some advertising here, which they could probably be selling actually. There's Team Harvey. They're everywhere. An ad for Neighbourhood Watch. There's some information on an electrician there. Somebody that does, who's that? Market update, that's somebody else. The Harbour Barber. But you can see these agents have done an excellent job at being community networkers and a safe space. I would call it the Uber of information. Kathy says, would you suggest them to print it in colour next time? Yes, because you know what? When you serve people a dish, like a MasterChef style thing, you know how the contestants always go up and they go, and the judges look at it, your first taste is always with your eyes. Now, I didn't know what this was. This had a heap of useful information in it, but I didn't know what it was. It took me a while, and Mark put under my nose and said, hey, did you know that, because we were looking at hiring a cleaner, there's a cleaner here that is local that the real estate agent recommends, so she must be good. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the mind of the consumer that you guys need to be thinking about and providing that sort of information, not just the real estate information, but being a connector of people. So that's the second R, which is relationship. And the third R is presence. Sorry, it's not an R, it's a P. Remember, we're talking RRP, presence. So the three things in presence are platform, frequency, and recency. So this is where consistency matters. So this is consistently showing up, not just at the buy sell stage, but all the way through. This is about being useful about the content that you deliver in a consistent way. And this is about being the last person that they think about. So platform, I guess, starts with Facebook because everyone's on Facebook and probably Facebook ads. So there was a bit of truth in what I said in the beginning. But there's also a heap of other things, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok now even, although, I dare not. TikTok, I dare not. Email marketing, have a newsletter, ad networks, Instagram, all of those things. And we're going to be taking a deep dive into, not TikTok, but all of those things. So Katie Lance on Friday will be taking a deep dive into Facebook. We've got Colin Anstey taking a deep dive into LinkedIn. We've got Chelsea Pites taking a deep dive into Instagram. So there's going to be plenty of platform stuff. We've got Josh Klein doing a deep dive into paid advertising. So you're going to get a taste of all of these things as we go along. Now, a word of warning, a cautionary tale. RRP is something that's meant to work together. And so if you only have one of those things, if you only have one R or one P, then be warned, it is not enough. So first of all, if let's relevance, relationship. And this is where I want you to watch closely because this is where you might pick up where there is a gap in your marketing right now. So if you have relevance, which is this one, but no relationship and no presence, then you end up something that I call the marketing nobody. That's savage, isn't it? So what happens is you're putting out relevant information, and I think about all of the bus shelters that I've seen in the past with real estate agents on them with that, call me for all of your real estate needs. Who notices those? Do you notice them? Hands up if you notice them. Why do you reckon you notice them? Serious question. I notice how bad they are. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you why you notice them. I would notice one if I was in the market. In that now moment of, there's a real estate agent. We've been talking about buying and selling. We've been talking about selling for the last 12 months. Maybe we'll call him. The truth is, tell me if this is the truth or not. Actually, I'm going to lean in. Tell me if this is the truth or not. You notice the real estate agents on bus shelters because you're a real estate agent too. Am I right? Yep. And so, this is what I would call, unless someone is seeing your marketing at the exact moment they want to buy, nobody's going to care. And so that's what makes you what we would call the marketing nobody, which is not a great place to be. The second one is, let's say you've got presence, but no relevance and no relationship. So this one is going to be green. Oops, that was a bit savage. So this one's going to be green, and these two are going to be purple. So this turns you into what I would call. This is another savage term. I'm so sorry. I say all this with love. You become the mosquito. So. I'll just let that one land for a while. So mosquito, you're everywhere, but just really irritating. And this is that constant just listed, just sold, just listed, just sold, me, blah, 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 blah. Who knows a mosquito? It's just this constant broadcasting of shit. Can I say, this is my webinar, I can say what I like. But, there's no two-way engagement. People do these live videos and they're just broadcasting their market updates, but they don't bother leaving you a comment back. And they are mosquitoes. Do we all know a mosquito? How many mosquitoes do you know? Several? Yep. So we're going to say banging their own door, buzz, buzz, buzz. Yeah, that's right. You ever think you're too small to be noticed, just think of a mosquito. The third one is, okay, so if you have a relationship but no relevance and no presence, so this one's green, but this one's red and this one's red. So this puts you in the territory of being what I would call, that friend in real estate. So, and you would have experienced this in probably this way. One of your best friends lists with another agent. It's because none of us like to sort of, one of the biggest fears I had when I did my Facebook Live challenge earlier this year was that I was going to annoy my family and friends. Does anyone worry about that? On your Facebook feed, it's like, oh, I don't want to market that I'm a real estate agent because I'm going to annoy my family and my friends. And then your family and your friends go and list with someone else. Has anyone ever experienced that? Why? I'm a real estate agent. I'm good at what I do. But it's because you have a relationship but no relevance and no presence when they need it most. Am I making sense? Thumbs up if I'm making sense. Yeah. It's also like that Amway factor, when someone says, I've got a business opportunity for you, and you go, oh, no, I love hanging out with you, but no, I don't want to talk business with you. That sort of stuff. That's that friend in real estate. So you have a relationship, but you're not relevant and you're not present. So how do we move forward from this? So I've had this song in my head all morning. Anyone know who this guy is? Anyone my age will know. Yep, it's Meatloaf. He had this great song. Maybe that's our Sunday night tune. Who knows? Called 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad. And so, let's move this forward a bit. Let's fast forward. So, if you've got relevance and you've got some presence, on your platforms, and you've got your messaging right, this is actually quite good because the intersection of this is authority. Or I would say it's authority. And when you've got authority, it means you've got enough reach and enough presence that people actually look at you as the expert in your market. And it usually means one thing also, and that is that you can hold your fee. That people see value in your knowledge, your expertise, and you can hold your fee. And that's the advantage of having relevance and presence together without necessarily a relationship. Is everyone good with that? Yeah, painful memories of the grand final a few years ago. Yeah, I never saw that performance. I didn't want my my views on Meatloaf to be destroyed. Anyway, moving along. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So that's authority. If you've got relevance and you've got presence but no relationship, that's authority. I would say that these guys have authority because their presence is good, their relevance is good, but they just don't have a relationship with me. They just need to buy a Peloton bike and get on with it as far as I'm concerned. Or come and say hi to my dog. If you've got a relationship, so this 2 out of 3, if you've got relationship plus presence, I think this is not a bad thing either, but no relevant. Let's just say not relevant. It's not a bad thing either. I think this makes you a networker. So this is, all of the stuff that I showed you with the newsletter, et cetera. And I think that if you are a networker, it's like you're like a connectivity mayor in your community. And it probably isn't good for the now leads, but probably is good for the future leads because people don't forget that sort of stuff, that you actually, are with them and helping them make connections and helping them get business. So that's what, a lot of the Americans will call your sphere of influence. So it's a good thing. But, pushing up, you need to sort of get the real estate stuff in too. And the third one Third one, where are we up to? So if you're relevant and you have a relationship, but let's say no presence, so the no presence, sorry, let me just switch. So the no presence bit is a bit of a problem, but this bit's actually good because it means you're working with your ideal client. And, they're the sort of things that, you draw more people in who resonate with you, people with common values. Some people call it being in flow, but just feels easy. Like there are some people that you meet, clients that you meet that you just click with and it's just really easy. And that's that, you're relevant to me right now and we can develop a good relationship. So that makes them your ideal client. Is everyone good with that so far? Yeah, cool. All right. So what happens when you get all three going together? Well, this is what we call like a shot of caffeine or the compound effect, or no coincidence that we called our sales coaching program Sales Caffeine. So the shot of caffeine is this. So let's just go back to the beginning for a sec. So if we're relevant, we've got, the way we describe our services and our messaging and our market positioning is all on point. Our presence is on point. So we're timing our posts. We're across different platforms. And our frequency is good. So we're not just a drive-by poster and then we don't do anything for a couple of months like me on Instagram. Do as I say, not as I do. And then over here on relationship, you've got connections, community, and conversation. Okay, and when you get all three of these working together, so over here we've got our ideal client. We're a networker. And we're an authority who can hold our fee. So let's just colour all those in. This is all green, obviously. There, right there is your area of kaboom. So can you imagine if you got all of these things right, what would happen to your business? What would happen to your business? Type it in the chat box. It would explode, kaboom. I love a good kaboom. Who doesn't like a good kaboom? So this is what we're going to be working on over the next 30 days, is different parts of this genius model. And this thing, the 3 circles is what's called a genius model. And would you believe that the guy that's speaking on day 29, wrapping up Transform, Simon Bowen, he invented the genius model. So if you found the genius model really easy to understand as a way of me explaining something to you, give the genius model some love in the chat box. What was the most useful for you there? And what Simon's going to do on day 29 is he's actually going to show you how to create a genius model that you can use in your listing presentation. Can't wait to catch up with Simon. That's right, yeah. Well, it's just for you guys in WA. Someone said to me, you never get any speakers in from WA. So we're getting Simon Bowen up early. But he's literally one of my favourite people. Like, he taught me how to do this. And so, he has some great content for real estate agents, and a lot of people have never heard from him before. But, if you can get yourself along to Simon Bowen's session, you will not regret it. Combine all three. Yep. Yeah, cool. Okay. All right. So when it doesn't feel like sales. So the last piece I want to explain to you today is this idea of friction-free selling. And we're going to talk about it in terms of marketing, sales are now one and the same thing. The majority of a buying decision is made before someone talks to you. Like, you think about the last major purchase that you made. Was it a car? Did you buy a house? Did you buy a pair of expensive shoes? Everyone has a COVID purchase. Mine was a guitar. But our fingers are bleeding right now because we really just don't want to deal with people. What we want to do is we want to do all the research, find out everything we possibly can to know about whatever it is we're about to buy, and then we'll make contact with a human, depending on your level of, tolerance for safety and all of that sort of thing. So I think as real estate agents, what you really need to do, and you can really focus in on this over the 30 days, is to get super obsessed with what the customer is thinking, what they're feeling, what they're searching, and what they're fearing. Is this agent going to get the best price for me? Are they going to get the best tenant for me? Am I going to get ripped off? Are they going to be a pain in the butt to deal with? Am I just going to get constant emails from them that I'm just going to have to press delete? They're all the things that consumers are thinking right now. Are they vaccinated? There's another fear right now. And I don't want to get involved in any political debates, but, start getting obsessed with what questions are going on inside the consumer's head. Is everyone cool with that? So the way we're going to do this is something else I learned from Simon Bowen. And I want you to think of it this way. What the customer knows about you is a box. And you can't see this on my screen, I don't think, but I've got a line down here, and this is actually in your workbook. So you can see that I've got a line down here. There is a slight grey shading. But if the bottom section of this is that the customer knows absolutely nothing about you, your product, your service, your business, then their knowledge of you is down here, which is nothing. If their understanding of you is like that they know all there is to know about you and your product and your service and your business, and it's really easy for them to say yes, their knowledge and understanding will be up here on this line. More often than not, your customer's knowledge about you, your product or your service is somewhere, in the middle. Does everyone agree with that? Like when you meet someone for the first time, it's in the middle. And if you're, how some salespeople they've got the gift of the gab. It's almost like you sit down and the salesperson will walk away with the order every single time, no matter whether they've just met the person for the first time or whether they're old mates. Does everyone know someone like that? Salesperson that's really, really, really talented? Yep, I work with one. Yes, Mel, you do. So if the salesperson is really talented, it doesn't really matter that the customer's knowledge line down here is low, because as soon as they meet the customer, they can move that knowledge line up really quickly, satisfy all of their queries, and walk away with a signed agency agreement. I think Josh Cheslin's probably one of those too. Although his marketing's pretty good, he has that gift of the gab where, it's really easy to move up the ladder. If you're not so talented, it's harder to move that line up. You really need to be, if you're not feeling like you're a born gifted salesperson, then you need to do something different in this box to move this line from here, to here. Because when you move the line from there to there, you don't have to do that much selling. You've only got to do this much selling. Does that make sense? Yep. So what goes on in the box is what the customer is thinking, feeling, fearing. And usually, it's not the things that we want to talk about. It's the ugly things. So if you've read in the workbook, I summarised this. See how thick this book is? See how much I love you guys? I summarised it into 4 pages for you in your workbook. So, or you can listen to it. Mark actually did the AI thing, and you can actually have a listen to the book. But what Marcus Sheridan says that the customer is truly obsessed about are these things. He calls them the big five. It's cost, problems, comparisons, reviews, and best of. Now, just breaking those down slightly. So cost, how much is it going to cost to hire an agent? Spoiler alert, it's about 2%, yet nobody ever talks about their fees. I don't know why. What problems could I have in selling my home? Like, what problems could I come up against, whether they be finance or renovating or staging or marketing or whatever? Comparisons, should I go for a flat management fee or a variable management fee? What's the difference in going for some fixed and some variable? The name of the book is They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan. Reviews. Obviously, people are checking out reviews of you, and best of. So, like, who are the best agents in the area? They're likely the questions people are asking. And so the more that you can answer those questions, or the more knowledge that the customer has of the answers of those questions about you, your product, or your business, the less selling you've got to do. Till you get to this point up the top here, which is a point we call, or I would call, the challenger sale. And the challenger sale is something else that's in the workbook, but it's for, another day. And if I could just summarize the challenger sale for you quickly, it's where you teach the customers are obviously researching all this stuff online. You know it, I know it, we all know it. But what they're looking for from you in the listing presentation or when they meet you is not more of what they know. They're looking for you to teach them what they don't know. And this is where, actually people want to learn about, like when I bought my Peloton bike, I thought I knew everything about it from all of my research. I was a pain. But then, Winning Services showed up and actually challenged me on a few things that I didn't know. And I was like, I just learned something. Damn. And that's how people generally feel. They don't want to be talked at. They don't want to know. They don't want you to teach them things that they already know. They want you to teach them something that they don't know. So that's that. So is that cool? Does everyone understand that? All right. Everyone got that? Happy for me to move on? So that's friction-free selling. The more that you can move this line up towards the customer's understanding and happiness with what you're offering, the easier they are to convert. And obviously this activity of moving the needle up or down is what we call in this course nurture. So this sort of takes care of relationships and relevance all at once. So I'm going to move on. The second key principle is relationships. And I just want to, this is the conversation that I had with Scott where we kind of turned the old marketing funnel on its head. Everyone, you've seen that triangle, this idea of, let's just call it people we don't know. Some people call them suspects. I don't know what we need to be suspicious of there, but anyway, some people call them prospects, whatever, strangers. And then we move them down the funnel and they become, I think, hot prospects. I think that's what they become. And then, hopefully we convert them and they become customers. But there's something wrong with this funnel, and that assumes that the nurture process only occurs here. And once they become customers, it's like, we stop communicating with them. And in real estate, that is something that happens a lot. The transaction's over, we move on. But I can tell you now that the top 450 agents in Australia, most of them are winning their business from past clients. Like it's more than half of their business's past clients. And so you really don't want to stop the nurture process when people become customers. You really want to keep the nurture process going. So I'd like to introduce you to this idea of what I would call a marketing flywheel. And so where it's more of a circular process. And, so yeah, some people are strangers, not known to us. Doesn't mean they're strange. It just means they're not known. And then they become prospects, which is the attract part of it. Sorry about my spelling, people. Where's Kylie? She should be proofing me as I go. Thank goodness for Kylie. Then they become customers. Then they become promoters. But that assumes that, at this attract stage, that nurture, it doesn't, we take the convert out here and we talk about delight, keeping the customer really, really, really happy. And at the centre of that flywheel, because have any of you read Jim Collins' Good to Great? There's always a flywheel. In real estate, your flywheel, if you're in sales, is past clients. So you do one job well, it's really hard to get the flywheel going. But, once you've done one client, you can probably afford to do more marketing. Then you do more marketing. And then you can bring in more clients and, the flywheel keeps going. Well, this flywheel is pretty much the same. If you can keep the marketing going from a digital sense, then, this flywheel will get faster and faster. And that's how you end up with the growth or the kaboom. So don't think when I talk about nurture in this course, or when anyone talks about nurture in this course, that we're just talking about nurturing prospects till they become clients, and then we cut all ties with them. Nurturing happens when people become customers as well. Is everyone clear on that? Yep, thumbs up. Okay. Lastly, presence. So presence is, this idea of, we've talked about attract. We've talked about nurture. We've talked about conversion a little bit. Although we'll be talking about conversion more. But leverage is about presence and allows you to be in more places at once than normal. And so what we're going to be talking about in this course in terms of leverage, and this is what allows you to scale. And also, that's that presence thing. Is we're going to be talking about repurposing, because you are agents. You don't want to spend your whole bloody life on social media or creating content or any of that sort of stuff. You need to be spending your time talking to people as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on creating content piece by piece. Katie Lance talks about it as pillar content, and she's on Friday. And then we're going to work at ways of repurposing that across platforms so that it sort of feels like you're in more places than you are at once, but you're actually not. So if that sounds like a cool strategy to you, can I get a thumbs up? Cool. Okay. So for the next 30 days, here it is. Here is your challenge for the next 30 days. So, in previous transforms, we've done this thing, wake up analog and write down your big question of the day and, do all that personal productivity stuff. I'm not saying throw that out the window. I'm saying if you've done transform before, you should still be doing that. But I'm only giving you two things to do this transform. And one of them is to get truly obsessed with what your customers are thinking and feeling and asking. And what I want you to do is, grab your workbook, and there's a worksheet in there. So, and it says video worksheet, but it's not just video. If you really, really, really hate video, then there are other ways that we can attack this. But I would really say to you, get comfortable on video, because people will feel like they know you from video. It's much harder to get that cut through that, I know everything about this person. I'm going to trust them to sell my biggest asset if you're not using video. people want to see your mug. They don't care about your eyebrows. They care about whether you can, whether you've got relevant information and you can sell their house. So what I want you to do, this is in your workbook, and Amy's dropped some links in there, and there are 30 spots there. That is not a coincidence. And so what you're going to do is you're going to listen out for your customers' questions for the next 30 days, and you're going to write down a question a day. Now, you can write down more than one question per day that you get from a customer, but it has to be a question that you could create a piece of content out of. So is this a question that I could answer on video? Is this a question I could answer as part of a blog post? Is this a question I could answer with a carousel on Instagram? Is this a question I could answer with a Facebook Live? Is this a question that I could answer, period, really? So it could be something really simple. And, we'll obviously give you points for writing down a question per day, but it could just be, what does it cost to hire a real estate agent? That's my first question. And the category will be try to keep them within Marcus Sheridan's categories. They don't actually have to be there. But most of them, if the category is not obvious, it'll mostly be number 2, which is problems. This one is number 1, which is about cost to hire an agent. And this is the start of your marketing plan. So under type, write down the type of content that you think that this question might look good on. So would it be good as an Instagram carousel? Should I write a blog post? Should I do a video? Should I do a Facebook Live video and just write in, I'm going to do a blog post on this one? And then write down where you can leave the date blank for the moment, but this is where towards the end of it, we're going to start planning an order of events of time that we're going to create this content, because you're probably not going to create all of this content within 30 days. We're going to ask you to create a couple of pieces as practice. But this is probably the sort of stuff that you put dates in and go, all right, on the 22nd of January, this is the blog post I'm going to do. Or on the 30th of March, this is the blog post I'm going to do. Is everyone feeling me now? Everyone getting the drift of what we're doing here? So really easy task that I'm giving you is really listen to your customers. Over the next 30 days. I want your ears open into, what are they asking me and how can I answer their questions? And I want you to write them down, because this is going to form the basis of your marketing plan. I said there were 2 things that I wanted you to do, so that's 1. The second thing that I want you to do is simply this: engage with people. So I haven't quite watched all of your Facebook Live videos, but I have loved the ones that I've seen. And I've been trying to leave comments on all of them. Now, who has noticed that I've left a comment on your Facebook Live? Hands up. Yeah, because people notice that shit. And so what I want you to do is start thinking about who you're connected to, whether it is on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever platform, I don't care. There is lots of love for you, Kelly Seaton. Don't ever doubt that. There's lots of love for you all. But, so what I want you to do is spend 15 minutes a day just commenting on other people's posts. Don't be a drive-by liker. Anyone can leave a heart and and drive off. I don't want you to do that. I want you to actually leave a comment that people will actually go, oh, okay, she left a comment. And it's something that they can read and it's something meaningful to them. And so 15 minutes a day, that's all I'm asking. And, if you don't have enough connections that are business on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, we are going to work on that. So over the 30 days, we're going to work on your Facebook and we're going to work on your LinkedIn and we're going to work on your Instagram. But for now, instead of just scrolling through the feed and driving by, stop. Say something nice, leave a compliment. Do something like that, 15 minutes a day, every day. And then when you check in of a day on the app, you'll be able to swipe and say, yes, I spent my 15 minutes and that's done. So 2 things: write down a question every day and engage with people on your digital. They're the 2 things I'm asking you to do for the next 30 days. Now, let's talk about the next 30 days, just briefly. So that sort of brings to a close, my little talk on friction-free selling. So first of all, I really hope that you got a fair bit out of that. You got a lot of notes out of that. I'd love to know in the chat box what you got out of that. What was the biggest thing you got out of that? What was your biggest takeaway? No challenge, no change. The genius model. Yeah. Get obsessed with your customers. Yeah. You can unfollow a few other agents while you're at it. Not people that are in this group, but RRP, to understand how my customers are thinking and feeling. Yep. Your tech is pretty cool for this, Sam. Why, thank you, Samara. I'm fighting a 5% battery at the moment, would you believe? Nothing's perfect. I got in here this morning and my battery's like 5%. So that's why I've been swapping around quite a bit. I'm afraid I've run out of batteries.
Hey, Sam, can I just ask a question? And it's going to be the least exciting question of the day, but I think we need to clarify on the code word. Seems to be a bit of misunderstanding around whether we're putting the code word in the chat box or whether we're plugging it into the app.
You're plugging the code word, the password, into the app. So if you have a look at the app now, you'll see day one check-in and it'll say, what's the password? And the password that you guys will put in, particularly you guys that have been here with me for the last hour, is Maverick.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that will be every day. Every live session will give you a password. And if you don't get to the live session, it gives you an excuse to make contact with your team member. You might have to swap a chop or something like that. Who knows? Who knows what the currency of Transform is going to be this time around? Does anyone have any questions for me? And also, I'm happy to hang around and help you guys download and install the app. If anyone wants to hang around. Has everyone got the app installed? Can I just have a yes or no? Does anyone need help with that? Sarah, what's your question?
Oh, Sam. Hello. Look, can you just go over this idea capture card thing again? I'm a bit lost on that.
Yeah. So the capture card, let's go back. So all you need to do with the capture card is, when you've listened to someone, circle one of the little icons of what you think, what your idea relates to, whether it's an attract strategy, a nurture strategy, a convert strategy, or a leverage strategy. Put in your name, put in the speaker's name. Now, I didn't put the speaker's name in because I'd be putting in my own name again, but there we go. Put in the idea in brief, which is the idea might be engage more with followers. Next step would be block out some time in my diary every day. I would suggest that everyone knows that I'm a fan of managing energy, not time. So when your energy is high, that's when you want to be talking to people and doing calls and being in front of people. When your energy is low and perhaps you are sitting in front of Netflix and stuff like that, that's probably when, social media is a good thing. And so I would time block it towards the end of the day because I want to use my greatest energy time to deliver my best to my clients and my team and all of that sort of thing. Categories on the worksheet: cost, problems, comparisons, reviews, best of. Yes, correct. That is correct, Kelly. Good summary. Okay, so block time out every day to do social media. Sorry, and then, well, this is a strategy that's not going to take me too long at all. I can start doing that now. That's a really quick win for me.
Capture cards are light bulb moments.
Yeah, capture cards are your light bulb moments. And then what you want to do is you either want to take a photo, like with your camera, of each side, or you could do what I've done, which is to actually, I'll show you what I'm doing. It's nothing fancy, actually. It just looks really fancy. So you can see I've actually just loaded up the image on my iPad. So if I wanted to, I could just like literally take a photo like that and then upload it to the app. But I will tell you, like, the app is good, but it's what you want to do is you want to have all of your stuff ready to go and then upload it all at once. Because if you upload one thing and then go back and do another thing and then, like the backwards and forwards thing doesn't really work too well. So you want to make sure that you've got all of your things. You've got your password, you've got your question of the day, you've got both sides of your capture card. And what was the other thing? Oh, you just have to tell us whether you engaged or not. All make sense? All right, so let's just wrap this up. So on Thursday's our next live session. So check tomorrow, just in the app for whatever task it is you're going to have to do, which won't be a big task, but we've got quite a few live sessions going on in this Transform. So this is today. We can sort of check her off. That's done. Day 2 is tomorrow. Day 3 is what we're calling Thirsty Thursday. So we wanted to incorporate some sessions into this round of Transform which were not too onerous, that were more fun. So we invite you on Thursday to bring a drink because we're going to, create some ads actually in Canva. I don't know if any of you have experienced Pinot and Picasso. We're calling ours Canva and Chardonnay. Now, the Chardonnay is optional, but we encourage you to bring a beverage because we're going to be doing, some fun stuff with Canva with Narina from Comeo, who's a bit of a branding guru. So come along Thursday for Canva and Chardonnay. And then on Friday, we have Katie, who is one of my favourite people in social media. She's just such a wealth of knowledge. And she's just been speaking at Inman, actually, at Inman Connect Las Vegas. So she'll be joining us on Friday morning. I'll be back on Sunday for the Sunday wrap. And then we go along. So Tuesday we've got Colin, and then Wednesday we've got Claudio. Thirsty Thursday again is Ashley. And then we sort of come around the road here. So we've got Homely and Jack from Podium. And they're going to be talking about SMS marketing and SEO. And then we come back around here. We've got Chelsea next Friday. And then we come around here. So again, Thirsty Thursday, we're going to be talking about Reels that day with Melanie. And Amy's our Reels guru. So I'm going to get her to throw her 2 cents worth in. A lot of her Reels have been viewed many, many times. Come around this way. Then we've got Scott. And then we've got, look at this, an auction. So day 24's Thirsty Thursday is an auction, and I'll have more information about the auction around about day 15, so don't stress too much. It is an individual auction. Yeah, it'll have individual winners, and, by then you'll have accumulated a heap of points and we'll text you how much money you've got to play with. So there'll be none of the chaos of last time, although it should still be fun. Bring a drink. And then, so just coming back along the roadmap, we've got, then we come into the final Sunday and then Simon Bowen and then the end. Sorry, I missed Joe. Okay, so sorry, Joe. Oh, my God, how could I miss Joe? Joe's actually been one of my mentors over the years. So when we started our podcast, Matt and Joe do a lot of podcast consulting, and Joe was our mentor when we started the podcast. So he's actually a bit of a guru in attract strategies and traffic strategies and things like that, and just an awesome, fun guy. So if you've ever listened to Hustle and Flowchart podcast, go and get amongst it because they are like hardcore marketers. All right, guys, great session today. Thank you so much for your attention. Lovely to be doing Transform again with you. I'll see you guys in the group. Those of you that haven't done your live video, get on it. Nobody dies pressing that live button. I know I've done it many, many, many times, and I'm still here to tell the tale. So thank you once again for joining Transform, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Big love, everyone.